When it comes to video game companies, Blizzard was one of the top dogs of any other companies when it came to the quality of their games. Many of their earlier games became known as cult classics and extremely innovative for games in general, such as World of Warcraft, Diablo, and StarCraft being just a few examples of those games. These games were renowned for their unique game styles, beautiful in-game cinematics that pushed the graphics of the time to their limits, and a beautiful and new way of storytelling through the gameplay and dialogue provided in every game. Even today, they have made unique games that defy the genres they are a part of, such as Overwatch being a unique team shooter by its unique characters and abilities to create new ways to play the game. Though in recent years, Blizzard has been on a steep decline when it comes to the company as a whole. Many of their newer and in-development games lack any polish or creative elements that make their past games great. Their communities have turned against them to form an unhealthy communication between community and company, and their workplaces have been filled with allegations of unequal and uncomfortable environments created by the workers and the supervisors within the company. These factors have over time created a company that is nothing more than egregious and horrible, that has used its power and reputation to create more bad experiences for everyone involved. Despite the belief that they are a good company with good games, they should be reprimanded for these actions. Blizzard should be boycotted and held accountable for its actions due to the decline in quality of its products, many reports of misconduct within their workplaces, and a toxic relationship between the company and community. When it comes to the decline of the quality of their products, one of the biggest failures in their products has to be attributed to the legal case of Valve versus Blizzard dealing with the ownership of the game Dota 2. The basis of this case is that both companies, Valve and Blizzard, worked to create Dota 2. And when Blizzard merged with Activision, Valve wanted to trademark Dota 2 as their own game, while Blizzard wanted to own the game. The case was settled between the two companies and an agreement was made, in which Valve would own the commercial Dota trademark and all future profits of the game, while Blizzard owned the non-commercial trademark to the game and would make their spin-off of the Dota game, calling it Heroes of the Storm. This became detrimental to Blizzard as Dota 2 became extremely popular and profitable, while Heroes of the Storm did very little in profits and lost a lot of its player base really quick, going from 6.5 players monthly to just roughly around 100,000 players. This was due to lack of actual care for the game, with multiple pre-releases slowing the hype for the game, a lack of actual marketing to spread awareness of the game, and no individuality from other games in the same genre. This showed that Blizzard cannot hold on to and provide games that attract the fan base it sought to please. Not only that, but Blizzard seems to be incapable of producing content for their main games that keep the player base happy and dedicated to the game. World of Warcraft has been Blizzard's main game and source of profit since November of 2004, almost 18 years after its release, and has undergone many different changes and additions that have led to a decrease in its dedicated player base over the years. This can be seen with the release of World of Warcraft's expansion Mist of Pandaria, in which Blizzard reported that 14% of users left the game between January and March of 2013, a loss of about 1.3 million players. This can be attributed to many changes and additions that push the player base away. One of those major changes being the Dungeon Finder, a feature that players use to queue into a dungeon/raid with other players in the same queue, as opposed to rallying players and friends in-game to partake in these in-game features. This push away from the sense of community that came with finding friends and players yourself to join you for an automated system, discouraging you from ever needing to ever meet new players, a system in which players did not enjoy. While keeping an 18-year-old game is difficult, the content implemented should still cater to the player base the company wishes to sustain, similar to how they created World of Warcraft Classic for players who enjoyed the classic World of Warcraft experience. Another product that had many issues and terrible content from Blizzard would be the release of Diablo 3. For the first few days of the release of Diablo 3, the game was made unplayable, as the forced online play mixed with terrible servers made connecting to the game near impossible, resulting in a connection error for the majority of the player base. Blizzard's response to this was that the back of the box the game came in read that it required high internet speeds and connection, despite the server issues, which were finally fixed after almost a week of issues. Not only that, but the game included an auction system in which players could purchase and put up the best loot in the game for real-world money. This discouraged the need to play the game to get the best loot when you could just buy it straight from the auction, causing a lack of enjoyment and necessity to play the game. Blizzard fails to produce well-made games with good content included within them, but the workplace that produces these products is an unhealthy environment to work in. Blizzard has made the workplace environment within their community insecure for the employees they hire with the unannounced and uncalled for layoffs they commit. In 2018, Blizzard recorded in its fourth quarter earnings report that the company made $7.26 billion in physical and digital sales alone, being reported as, quote, the best in our history, according to Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Blizzard. Despite this record-breaking revenue, in February of 2019, Blizzard cut 8% of its staff, or about 800 jobs, in an act to, quote, deprioritizing initiatives that are not meeting expectations and reducing certain non-development and administrative-related costs across the business, according to the fourth quarter fiscal earnings release. While it's understandable that a company may have an excess of workers over time, and Blizzard may not have a place for those 800 individuals, it does not make it less disheartening for Blizzard to be celebrating its record-breaking sales without sharing that with some of the people who made that happen. Not only do unannounced layoffs lead to unguaranteed job at any time, but within that job lies a workplace of harassment and discrimination. In mid-2021, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, or the DFEH, filed a lawsuit against Blizzard over alleged sexual harassments and discriminations against women. These allegations span from talks of sexual acts with women all the way to groping and even one case of a female employee committing suicide over multiple cases of harassment targeted towards her. In one case, a string of accusations made by former World of Warcraft senior creative director Alex Afrasiabi over how he was, quote, permitted to engage in blatant sexual harassment with little to no repercussions, as reported by the DFEH. The DFEH has also claimed that J. Allen Brack, the president of Blizzard, quote, allegedly had multiple conversations with Afrasiabi about his drinking and that he had been too friendly towards female employees at the company events, but gave Persuasive a slap on the wrist, i.e. verbal counseling, in response to those incidents, end quote. After those supposed talks, Persuasive, quote, continued to make unwanted advances toward female employees, including groping one of them according to the lawsuit. This permitted act of sexual misconduct should not be justified no matter the company nor line of work, and only goes to show that Blizzard should be reprimanded for the actions and held accountable for the actions of their employees and supervisors. Regarding the female employee that committed suicide, this was brought up as the family of the female employee has sued Blizzard over the suicide, blaming her death on sexual harassment and the supervisor who lied to detectives about his relationship with the employee. Carrie Moynihan was a 32-year-old female employee at Blizzard who was found dead on a company retreat, which in the DFEH lawsuit was claimed to be caused by sexual harassment in Blizzard studios. These instances involved a company holiday party in which lewd photos of Carrie were passed around, as well as a company retreat in which a, quote, male supervisor brought sex toys with him on the trip. This was later worsened as Carrie's boss, Greg Restuccio, had lied to detectives about his relationship with Carrie and proceeded to wipe her phone and refused to allow investigators to search through his phone and laptop. This horrible act of suicide has shown how far sexual harassment goes within Blizzard Studios and how that can have an effect on the victims and the families of the victims, and that Blizzard should not be able to cover it up and get away with it. Not only this, but according to the DFEH lawsuit, women were paid much less than men, even on an executive level, promoted less often than men, and were terminated much faster than men. Not only that, but the lawsuit alleges that women are subjected to, quote, cube crawls, in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol and crawl through various cubicles in the office to engage in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. Male employees proudly came into work hungover and drunk and played video games for extended periods, delegating their works to the female employees, engaging in banters about their sexual encounters, and even joking about rape in the workplace. None of these behaviors are acceptable in a professional environment, and even though these are alleged accusations, they should still be looked at seriously. Not only is the environment within the workplace toxic, but the relationship between the company and its community shows many toxic behaviors Blizzard portrays. Blizzard has had many poor confrontations when it comes to dealing and communicating with its communities of fans and players. In a 2010 live Q&A hosted by Blizzard at one of their expos, BlizzCon, one question a female fan asked regarded that nearly all the female characters in World of Warcraft look like they, quote, stepped out of a Victoria's Secret catalog. The group of men on the Blizzard panel then responded with sexist comments regarding how they would pick women from, quote, different catalogs, making it a sexist statement by putting different types of women into catalogs, showing how poorly Blizzard answers the questions and concerns of their female community. Not only do they not know how to handle their live communities, but they don't know how to handle trolls in their online community. In July of 2010, Blizzard was facing a massive troll problem in their forums as trolls were causing toxicity through name-calling in their comments. This is a very common issue when it comes to company forums, and many companies deal with this by hiring moderators to deal with trolls, whether this is through timeouts or even bans. Blizzard, as opposed to those companies, decided that the best course of action is to force people in the forums to use their real names as opposed to having Blizzard IDs. This had the opposite effect as it would reveal too many details of forum users, and one of Blizzard's staffers, quote, Bashiok, had many of his personal details unearthed, including his address, phone number, photographs, and the names and locations of close family members. With all the backlash and complaints Blizzard received about the change, they ended up reversing it and have not had any form of controlling the forum community since. If Blizzard were to have listened to their community, this change would have never been implemented, and only goes to show how little they care about the opinions of their followers. Not only does Blizzard fail to control the trolls in their community, but they fail to show respect for the political opinions of their community. This occurred in 2019, as Hong Kong was undergoing a political protest against China, as China wanted to take away many of the unique freedoms, and Hong Kong protested with a 50 years of self-rule apart from China. This news spread to America, which was met with many people supporting Hong Kong in their fight to become independent from China, including the support of a professional Hearthstone player named Blitzchung. His support would be shown in a Hearthstone tournament held by Blizzard, where Blitzchung would go on to give a political message showing his support for Hong Kong and with help from the broadcast host of the tournament. Due to Blizzard's ties with China and the profits they make off sales in China, Blizzard went to ban Blitzchung and fire the broadcasters of the tournament. Although Blizzard is allowed to punish those who infringe on Blizzard terms with China, they should not do this by suppressing the message the person wishes to voice and fire those associated with him. Not only that, but it shows the hypocrisy of Blizzard in their morals, as they have voiced their support for Black Lives Matter movement, but failed to show their support for the freedom movement in Hong Kong due to ties with China. All this said, Blizzard has only proven to the world that their connection to their community is non-existent, and they put their own beliefs and ideas over their community's feedback. Blizzard used to be one of the most renowned gaming companies in the world. They used to be known for their creativity, beauty, and stories they brought to the world of video games. Now, Blizzard has fallen to be one of the most corrupt and horrible companies in current day. They make uncreative and unpromising games that fail the community they built over years. They treat their female workers with complete disrespect and dishonesty, to the point of harassment and discrimination. They treat their community as beneath them, as even though their community made them who they are today. They will always put the company beliefs and ideas over the communities. I urge people to speak up against Blizzard and to boycott the products they make and the message they send. Blizzard does not deserve the billions they make and the love of those who follow them. So I urge those to stop buying the products they sell and to voice support for the victims of Blizzard's horrible deeds, as Blizzard is nothing more than a dream turned nightmare.